And speaking of exciting MMA, we have a preview for the next PFL Championship Finals card. There are three, not one, not two, but three PFL tournament champions to be crowned. It'll be the bantamweight, women's flyweight, and lightweight titles on the line. A pretty stacked card. This is one of their big domestic cards, part of their regular season or world tournament now, before they head to Abu Dhabi. More on that later. First, we have a headlining bout. Gadzhi Rabadanov and Alfie Davis. This will be the lightweight final. Pretty excited for this one. Rabadanov has just been an absolute terror to anyone in his way. He's becoming must-see MMA for me. 12-fight win streak, 4 straight TKOs. Absolutely dominated Mark DeCasey and Kevin Lee. Made them look completely outmatched. I know those aren't the elite of elite at this point, but nobody's beaten those guys the way that he just did. So Rabadanov is probably the most convincing lightweight in the division, even over Usman Nurmagomedov or Paul Hughes. PFL's framing him hard into that Nurmagomedov dynasty, as they tend to do in their storytelling. Whatever gets more eyeballs on the product, Rabadanov's definitely deserving of them. I think he is just a world-class fighter. But in his way is a unique case. It's Alfie Davis, who has gotten hot at the right time. A fun, creative striker from England. His win over Clay Collard with his spinning back elbow and a gritty decision win over Brent Primus got him here. Those are the two biggest wins of his career. Can he make it 3? Well, there's probably going to be a big speed gap, as there tends to be with Rabadanov. This dude's lightning quick and super accurate. Probably the two most essential possessions you could have as a striker in MMA, and he comes with a well-grounded game that we don't often even get to see, because Rabadanov puts an end to any chance of that, and I don't think we'll see it here. Alfie Davis is going to look for that crazy spinning shot that he landed on Clay Collard and that he's landed in the past. Maybe a huge axe kick or something. I don't know. If he's not to land that, it's probably going to be a Gadzhi Rabadanov tournament win for the second year in a row. I would say probably a second-round TKO. I know Alfie Davis said that he's going to dance in front of him like a monkey or something and put on a show, but I kind of have my doubts on that. But time will tell. I am rooting for Alfie Davis. I think he's a fun fighter. I've watched him going back to Bellator. It's kind of crazy to see him in this role. I hope he makes it last, man. Moving on to Jenna Bishop and Liz Carmouche, the women's flyweight tournament final. Definitely an interesting division for PFL specifically. Obviously, Dakota Ditcheva, the queen at 125 for PFL. We may find out her next challenger. We probably should here, right? It's the flyweight final. This is the tournament format. This is what crowned Ditcheva the champion last year. This year we have Liz Carmouche, former Bellator champion, and Jenna Bishop. Carmouche, 11 of her last 13 have been wins. Her only losses were a UFC title fight to Valentina Shevchenko and a very narrow split decision loss to Talia Santos. She's proven, well-rounded vet. If you've been following MMA for the last decade or more, you know Liz Carmouche, and you know she's a bad mamma jamma, okay? She hasn't really shown any wear and tear. She's still fighting at a very high level. Jenna Bishop, her opponent, 39 years old, elite BJJ black belt, definitely has skills on the ground and grappling. She was competitive against Taila Santos, very similarly to Carmouche. She lost to Ditcheva. She has gotten a shot at Dakota Ditcheva. It did not go her way. I think she ate a crushing knee to the face. Ditcheva used her clinch mainly. Obviously, Bishop has to close distance in order for her style to work successfully. I don't really have a whole lot of interest in seeing Ditcheva rematch with Bishop, but if Bishop is to beat Girlrilla, Liz Carmouche here, it's hard to take that away from her. So it's a pretty high-level fight for women's flyweight. We've got a new challenger with elite grappling against the proven champion. And in that case, I will be going with the proven champion. I've got Liz Carmouche by a 5-round decision. Ideally, that'll set up a Dakota Ditcheva, Liz Carmouche fight, which has decent mainstream appeal. I think a lot of people still remember Liz Carmouche from those glory days of MMA. She has that legend status, so to speak, and Dakota Ditcheva is the hot new toy. So let's make that fight happen. That's been on my mind since this Bellator PFL partnership or purchase, whatever the fuck. So I think that is the fight to make, even if there wasn't a tournament format. That is the fight to get in the cage until further notice. And, it's a justified matchup. It's a lot of people complain about Dakota Ditcheva not having flyweights to fight in PFL. I think Liz Carmouche is as good as any other flyweight in the world. So I really like that matchup and that scenario, but she has to get it done this weekend against Jenna Bishop, who we cannot count out. Speaking of not counting out, let's move on to the bantamweight final. And the reason I say that is because this features Marceli Alves, who was a tournament alternate. He was not even scheduled to be in the PFL World Tournament. He has since scored upset wins over former Bellator title contender Leandro Higo and former UFC prospect Jake Hadley. And that Jake Hadley fight, oh my goodness, the striking stats on that fight, I will never forget. 187 strikes landed for Alves, 18 for Jake Hadley. 18 over the course of 3 rounds. And Alves almost landed 200 strikes. It was absolutely dominant. There were 26 scorecards. I was pretty impressed. I know Jake Hadley's not the best in the world, but holy, he made him look like he should quit the sport. I mean, it was insane. He just picked him apart. His opponent, Justin Wetzel, he came in overweight for the first fight, which I thought was strange. I thought it was strange that he was able to stay in the tournament. I thought you got pulled if you weren't able to make weight in the tournament. I do believe his opponent, Kasim Kasimov, took the fight anyway. I don't think he was too bothered by it. Maybe that went into the decision-making here. But that came to cost him because Justin Wetzel scored a major upset. I want to say he was a plus 600 underdog. And he grinded out a decision. Did it pretty convincingly. He followed up with another decision win over Mondo Gutierrez. I don't think he's been as dominant as Alves in the tournament bracket. He's definitely gritty. He definitely knows how to win. He's on a hot streak. I know most people are picking Wetzel from what I've seen, but give me Alves. Give me Alves by a dominant striking performance, like what he did to Jake Hadley. That was impressive to me. I'm going to not forget that performance and hold him to it. That's the standard now. Marceli Alves, your bantamweight champion. And if that is the case, here's what I'll say about all of this. This has not been one of the stronger brackets for PFL, which is a shame because I think there's a lot of potential at bantamweight. I think it may be to that point in a year or two. There were a lot of pullouts in the tournament. You'll be establishing a guy here, someone to put eyeballs on, someone to put in a big fight. I don't know their future as far as success goes, but they'll have the credentials with this tournament win, and we'll see how they fit into the division. Now, with Patchy Mix gone, you still have some heavy hitters in there like Magomed Magomedov and Sergio Pettis, former Bellator champion, Rafion Stotts. I mean, there's guys in the division. I think it's a little top-heavy. We'll see it where these tournament winners fit into those higher ranks. We also have some undercard highlights. Mads Burnell is back. Definitely a fan favorite in UFC, Bellator, PFL now. He's coming off a loss to J.J. Wilson. He's taking on Robert Watley, who is 4-0 since his last PFL stint, which I think was about, 4-6 years ago, something like that. Pretty nice little undercard fight here. May decide a tournament spot next year. I'm not sure what the future is for either of these men. I usually keep tabs on Mads Burnell. He's a pretty fun fighter, fun personality. I'm going to take him by decision. He's got a little higher level experience. I don't see any of Robert Watley's wins really standing out, but this could be the first name win, so to speak, for Robert Watley. Also on the card, this fight I am just so confused by. Absolutely just perplexed and puzzled by this booking. Juliana Velasquez and Ekaterina Shakalova. These two have already fought. And I know nobody pays attention to this shit, but I do. And I know those matchmakers do. I hope they do. These two fought in April. It is August right now. May, June, July, August. Maybe 4 months. And they are having a rematch. Juliana Velasquez, former Bellator champion. Shakalova, PFL Europe champion. Both legit fighters. I liked the fight in April. Thought it was a good fight. I think it was tournament action. They've since been kicked out of the tournament. Shakalova beat her in, 2 minutes, if that? Rear naked choke. Didn't even really give Velasquez a chance. And now, there's a rematch. I don't understand. Am I missing a storyline here? Am I not filled in on what's going on? Why is Juliana Velasquez getting an immediate rematch with Shakalova? What am I missing? Someone tell me in the comments what I'm missing. This is completely baffling. I don't know why I wouldn't expect a similar outcome. I do think Velasquez should fare a little bit better. I mean, a 2-minute rear naked choke where I don't even think she landed a strike or defended a takedown. I think it was Shakalova steamrolling her into a rear naked choke for positioning. I just don't see why this was booked. It's quite strange to me. I really have nothing else to say about that. This next fight, I see intention for. I know why it's happening. It is happening because Biaggio Ali Walsh needs to make a rebound. He, not too long ago, suffered his first upset loss to Ronnie Gibbs in Gibbs' hometown of Chicago. It was a nice moment for Ronnie Gibbs. Not a nice moment for the grandson of Muhammad Ali. He looks to bounce back. He's going against Adrian Grundy, who PFL has pictured nicely here. It's a featherweight moving up to lightweight. It's pretty similar to the Ronnie Gibbs formula. Hate to say can-crushing formula because these aren't necessarily cans, but it's certainly a favorable matchup for Biaggio. But so was Ronnie Gibbs, and we saw how that turned out. I think Gibbs was a plus 1,000 underdog or something. Walsh showed great power. He showed pretty nice striking. I think his glaring mistakes lied in his fight IQ in terms of positioning, in terms of landing and following up on that in a successful way. I think we saw him land pretty well and then resort to grappling, not a strong suit. He seems a little bit more comfortable on the feet. I think he should rely on that power more. We'll probably see him do that in this fight with Grundy, but there's no reason not to pick Biaggio, but if you're looking for a low-risk payday, maybe take a chance on Adrian Grundy and cross your fingers. But I'm going to pick up Biaggio. I think he's still fun to look out for, too, in terms of a prospect, just because of the marketability standpoint. And we'll see how his career pans out. He can get back on track right here. MMA is very forgiving in terms of wins and losses. It's not quite like what his granddad did in the boxing ring. Records can be blemished, and you can find success in the sport. So time will tell on that. Time will also tell on Sabrina de Sousa, who they do not have promo picks for. I'll have to add one in post. But there is a lot to talk about on this one for a prelim. Sabrina de Sousa, a 4-time IMMAF gold medalist, an elite amateur background. Only 21 years old, she's shown a well-rounded skill set, lot of amateur fights. She makes her PFL debut, and it's in the flyweight division. Dakota Ditcheva's division. Do we have a prospect here that can eventually challenge Dakota Ditcheva? Well, time will tell, as I like to say. You see the records 3-0 for Sabrina de Sousa, 8-7 for Sarai Orozco. You've got the journeywoman against the hot prospect, only 3 fights in. I think a win here, she'll become 4-0. PFL can kind of fast track her to that superstardom through the tournament next year and put her on that same trajectory that Dakota Ditcheva went through. She certainly has the credentials on paper early in her career to be that girl that can make a really compelling fight with Ditcheva in a few years' time. This is all This is all planning. Orozco's not necessarily a squash match. It will show where De Sousa really ranks as far as high-level women's flyweight fighters. But assuming this goes her way and PFL's way, I think we'll see her in the tournament or in some bigger fights very quickly.